I used to worry that my business might not be successful. I still do sometimes, even though it's doing fine. And what happens when I get into that mode is that I'm looking at planning everything. I'm looking at how can I work harder. I'm focused on all the different aspects of my business. And even though I may be seeing progress, what I noticed when I'm in this mode is that I'm still exhausted. It's like I'm not fully able to trust. And so, having gone through this in and out several different times over a course of many years, I've come to realize that control isn't the same as safety. Where does chronic vigilance show up for you? Does it show up in your health? Does it show up in your relationship? Does it show up with your children? Does it show up when you think about the world and the future of our planet or the politics of our world? Does it show up with money? When you're chronically vigilant, it's like being a guard dog that never gets any sleep. If you can imagine a loyal dog that never leaves its post, even when there's no real threat, and it keeps pacing with its ears perked and its muscles tense, it's not being bad, it's just that it doesn't know how to rest. You know that feeling when your body isn't in danger? Like it's technically safe, but your system hasn't really gotten the memo. It's like there's a hum underneath everything, even when nothing's actually wrong. So you're functioning and doing things, maybe even smiling, but underneath there's this low-level buzz, a kind of background vigilance or a quiet tension that never quite turns off. You may sleep at night and you got some good sleep, but there's still this tension, something there. And what's worse is that you may be tired of actually managing it and you just want to rest, but your nervous system keeps whispering, not yet. Something might happen. I think highly sensitive people are especially prone to chronic vigilance and survival mode because we have a more finely tuned nervous system, which means that we process more sensory and emotional input at the same time. We notice subtle shifts in people's tone or body language or in the environment. We empathize deeply and sometimes absorb other people's emotions unconsciously. And we feel things intensely, including perceived threats, whether physical, emotional, or relational. In fact, when you look at the HSP trait, it's almost as if we were built to spot danger. You know, maybe that's one of the evolutionary advantages is that we are able to see danger before others do. We're also able to spot food earlier. But this tendency, and as humans and maybe all animals do, we tend to focus on the danger part first, because one bad danger and you could be out of your life. So there's this natural tendency to focus on the negative. And this can result in a kind of constant low-level scanning of the environment. Like, is everything okay? Did I do something wrong? Is something about to go wrong? And over time, that scanning becomes a background hum, a kind of inner bracing that many HSPs mistake for normal until they experience what it's like to actually feel safe again. You might recognize yourself in thoughts like this, like that or just experiences like this, that you're always slightly braced, as if the next moment might bring you something that you need to handle. Or even joy feels kind of fragile, like you can't relax into it because it could disappear. Or you catch yourself scanning conversations or rooms or headlines, always reading the air, always looking for what's next, looking for that other shoe to drop. Or maybe you try to distract yourself with TV or podcasts or scrolling or anything, but the relief never really lasts. So the result is you can end up getting exhausted, not from doing too much, but from being on too much all the time. And the cruel part is you've done all the self-care and you've read the books and you know how to relax, but your body doesn't trust that it's safe to let go. So let's be honest. Living like this eats away at you. There's a subtle grief of missing your own life. Moments that should feel rich, laughter, connection, love, can often feel muted. Even when something good happens, a part of you is still watching for danger. You start to wonder if you've forgotten what peaceful even feels like. And underneath all that vigilance is a deep sadness. I want to feel safe from the inside out. I want to trust life again. So this kind of chronic vigilance doesn't just drain your energy, it affects everything. It affects your relationships because it's hard to truly be with someone when part of you is elsewhere scanning. It affects your creativity, and which is such an important part of being an HSP, because safety is what allows flow, that creative flow. And your body's stuck in protection, which blocks that flow. So creativity becomes difficult. It affects decision-making because fear makes you prepare for the worst cases and not dream of the best ones. So you end up settling for the worst, for a lesser outcome. It can affect your health, of course, because long-term hypervigilance keeps your system flooded with stress chemistry, and it can go on and on. You may be functioning, but you're not fully living. You're surviving with a kind of sophistication, but it's still survival. So control isn't the same as safety. Many sensitive, intelligent people are trying to think their way to safety. If I stay prepared, I'll be okay. Or if I keep planning, I won't be caught off guard. Or if I just stay vigilant, maybe nothing bad will happen. But safety doesn't come from predicting every possible threat. Safety comes from teaching your body it's okay to exhale even when life is uncertain. Because the world has always been unpredictable. The only thing that's ever truly under your control is the state of your own system. What if your body could finally get the message? You can stand down now. You're safe. You're safe enough to live. There's another way to live, not by forcing yourself to calm down, because that never works, but by helping your nervous system remember safety. Safety is an experience. This is what happened when I started to question my thoughts about my need for success in business. And I started realizing that these were just my thoughts revving me up and getting me caught into an endless loop where I'm trying to control something that I can't fully control. And where that inquiry led was back to myself, to what I can control and what I actually have. And I could see that in reality, I was fine. This has to happen on an experiential level. You can't just intellectualize this. You have to walk through and walk with the part of you that's still attached here and still frightened. And you have to be with that part of you and allow it to find a new truth. This is what I help my clients do. We rebuild internal trust, the kind where your body learns it can stay open even when life isn't perfect. Imagine waking up without the background hum. Imagine feeling present, actually tasting your food, hearing the laughter, feeling your feet on the ground. Imagine joy that doesn't feel like a risk. That's not wishful thinking. It's nervous system re-education. If you're tired of living like your body's on guard 24/7 and you're ready to finally feel safe and grounded and alive again, that's exactly what we do inside the HSP Inner Freedom Program. It's a space for highly sensitive, deep-feeling people who are ready to stop living in survival mode and are ready to start experiencing real embodied safety, the feeling of safety, no matter what the world is doing. In our work together, I'll show you how to rewire your nervous system to trust rest again, how to stop over-preparing and start living from presence, and how to feel emotionally and physically grounded even when life feels uncertain. Go to the link in the show notes or visit trueinnerfreedom.com/solutions and book a free inner freedom strategy call with me. On that call, we'll look at what's been keeping your system stuck in vigilance and map out your path towards feeling safe from the inside out. Because you deserve more than just coping. You deserve to live.